Hello class, good morning. So in this video lecture, I'm going to discuss the behavioral aspects of housing. Okay, so let's begin our lesson. So a residence should provide a safe, relaxing, and also private environment for individuals to live and amuse themselves and others. But this is not always the case. They provide chances for a wide range of enjoyable and beneficial social, work, and leisure contacts and behaviors. But they can also cloak undesirable habits from public scrutiny point of view. So, despite the limitations associated in researching behavior in a private setting, understanding how people act inside their homes has been a topic of housing research for many years. Residential attitudes such as preference, choices, and satisfaction are more frequently studied by social scientists and housing industry researchers because studying attitudes require fewer restrictions than studying what individuals do with their houses. Typically, residential attitudes studies are carried out by surveying residents in public places, such as a small grocery store, a school, as well as a via mail and even internet. However, modern technology allows the researchers to investigate behavior within homes in less intrusive ways, as long as ethical considerations such as informed consent are strictly followed. Time use of different places within the property, digital pictures, handheld recording devices, and resident narrated video tours are some of these strategies. This section depicts people's conduct both inside and outside of their homes. It includes men's, women's, and also children's behavioral inclination in how they use different portion of house, and it finishes with a discussion of accessibility and aging in place. Let's talk about the residential interior arrangement. So there are several ways to design and decorate a home, but these differences are not random. They are relatively predictable because to cultural, the religious, and economic considerations, as well as the residents' values and personalities. Because living rooms are the main shrines and showrooms of inhabitants, they are frequently the subject of this uh, topic of research. So, these core rooms nearly always feature artifacts that are very meaningful to residents and are, on some level, intended to communicate to their visitors. Residential interior arrangements are sometimes showcase the orderliness, the organizations within homes that differs as well. A study of a single family homes in California, for example, analyzed variable of occupants, such as family type, their income, and as well as their lifestyle, that may have prompted them to organize their interiors as they did. Unmarried parents' houses exhibited more disorder and functional complexity than typically married parents' homes and inhabitants with higher incomes. A research in Italy identified a five broad interior design styles, which differs in terms of symmetry or lack of symmetry, conventionality and eccentricity, the cost of furniture and furnishing, and the use of or non-use of a ritual objects. So these styles vary according to their residents' age, preference for business or intellectual interest, and financial standing. Next is home spatial ecology. People do not devote equal amounts of time to each area of their homes. And there are some studies look at some who spends time where in the house, even who may rarely or never enter a particular rooms. So the children, for example, are rarely enter their parents' bedrooms, while parents eventually retreat from adolescents' bedrooms, where men and women spend their time uh, can occasionally show significant variances. The older studies way back 1980s, they discovered that women reported doing far more domestic work, our laundry and baking, than men. And that because that is the what we call the culture that was being observed by most of us, and who did far more maintenance related activities at home. So let's give applause to our ladies who did a great job to maintain the, the neatness and cleanliness of our home. Thank you very much. So this is an example, and this picture illustrates a uh, very peaceful uh, part of the home that is having a connection to nature and ecology. Okay, next is leisure behavior at home. So according to ethnographic study, less than 20% of working and middle class parents' time at home is spent on leisure activities. At this moment, most behaviors are passive and non interactive, like, for example, watching television and also playing video games. Men spend more time than women on passive leisure activities such as watching television, also in the living room. So after a long work, men will sit in the chair or the sofa and watch their favorite basketball game. Men and women engage in different leisure activities in different areas of the house at different time of the day and for varying durations of time. Men and women, for example, both engage in brief and fragmented intervals of leisure. But men are more likely to enjoy longer duration of recreation. So in this picture, the grandparents and their granddaughter are having a leisure in their living area. So understanding how various types of housing might support or impede recreational behavior is critical. Obesity, for example, social health, and overall well-being problems present a solid cause to explore how homes influence leisure behavior more thoroughly. Leisure activities can help to relieve stress and strengthen the familial bonds in home. So teens who enjoy in-home leisure time with their parents, for example, have been proven to have improved overall well-being. So some home-based recreational activities, on the other hand, can have a negative impact on other habits. So the one of this example is overexposed to our television. So our kids, so parents, we should always watch over to our children on what they are watching because this it greatly impact it influence their mind. So that's why we should be very proactive in terms of managing our households and having a extra leisure activities with our wife, our children could foster the bond among the family, and it will give love and joy and good things that money cannot buy. Next is accessibility and aging in place. The vast majority of older individuals and those with disabilities choose to age in place. So the aging population, at least is in developed countries, is driving designers and academics to think about housing in the later stages of life. In addition, the number of people with disabilities who require accessible homes is expanding. Accessible design concept, often known as universal design, provide less demanding and more convenient living spaces by making it easier for people with limited mobility to access, exit, and maneuver inside a structure. Similarly, aging in place design principles ensure that people of all ages can remain safely and satisfactorily in. So, if you have time, you may visit this link and read this article about the project in Hong Kong, in which they are developing flats, which is commonly known as a condominium in the Philippines. They are developing a flats that is more suited for the elderly, and this is somehow generate a uh, good topic for this specific discussion. Accessible housing usually has more floor space, wider hallways and door frames, and movable fixtures like kitchen and bathroom countertops and cupboards. So nowadays, our furnitures are adapting, and we can see this in the marketplace, how they be able to adapt in this point of view on how to cater uh, elderly and getting aging in the same place. Homes that can adjust to an occupant's physical needs over time increase the chance of positive behavior at home as well as in the community. It gives a peace of mind and also stability for a certain family and household because it will lessen the tension and stress in moving out of a certain family because they are well established in a certain place. Most activities in the home can be maximized when such concepts are followed in a domestic design. Residents who use wheelchair, for example, are better able to interact with family, their friends, and their community if their home is designed for limited mobility. So even they are in wheelchair, they can still do their functions, like uh, doing the most basic things. It means that their wheelchair can move around in their place, can access the things that they need to access without interference or without any limitations. And with that, it creates a sense of positivity towards this our PWD that still, despite of this condition, they can still maneuver and having a sense of dignity for him or her. Residents who use a wheelchair, for example, transitions to hospitals or assisted living facilities may be reduced by accessible dwelling designs, saving individuals and healthcare system money. So, with this type of design, uh, it gives so much value, na not only monetary, but as well as for the sense of well-being of the person. So research on how to utilize these designs in market housing, long-term care facilities, and affordable housing projects to enhance the physical and social well-being of aged and disabled residents are still ongoing. And we will find or we will be able to read more articles related to this topic. So class, this is very important topic. You know, our behavior in housing is very important to grasp and understand since our home is a safe place for us and for our family. But based on the research, um, residential security and then practice class should be place safety and also our refuge. But according to the study, in, for example, in Scotland, 64% of recent crimes related to killings happened in residential dwellings. That's why, as a certified security professional, uh, security among individuals should be very uh, instilled to each and every one of us. because security is a responsibility of everyone. Everyone should participate in this. And that's why we should always give extra precaution um, to our residents because we cannot compromise for the safety of our family. And according to the statistics in Canada, 85% of all sexual or physical assaults on children are committed by people they know. Such acts are likely to occur at home. So this is a very, class. This is very alarming. You know, when we think about housing, sometimes we are just only um, for we're only looking after for the aesthetic beauty, but sometimes we compromise for this aspect of house or a component of the housing. That's why we should stretch out and give emphasis and importance for the security aspect of housing. These data are most likely comparable in other nations. So that's why in this lesson, I would like to maybe not in another topic, I will be able to give a more detailed uh, discussion about home security. Although experts disagree in the prevalence of marital violence, it is far from uncommon and almost always occurs within the home. Less significant negative behavioral effects have also been linked to residences. Like, for example, independent on financial level, a recent study found that children who live in lower physical condition had greater behavioral difficulties. The design and type of residences have been linked to a variety of forms of stress. So our conclusion, class, is that one's home should be and often a place of security, a solitude, a pleasure. But this is not always the case due to some um, considerations or situations that could affect. And one major factor, class, is economic. It's not. It's right nowadays. Owning a decent house is a little bit expensive. Evaluating behavior in homes is more difficult than measuring attitudes towards housing. We cannot easily evaluate the behaviors of people in their homes because it is um, private environment. And residents organize their homes in various ways, but in predictable way based on their culture, their values, their age, their wealth, and also their marital status. Men, women, and children spend more time in various regions of the house. And home-based recreation can lead to a stronger ties and improve a well-being. So that's why uh, the family, the parents should create some activities. I can still recall some of the activities when I was young, when uh, I was still growing up with my family. We have games, chessboards. We have less television. We have less internet during the time. And I have a wonderful memories together with my siblings and my parents since we're also exposed to table tennis. We are playing a lot with my parents, with my father and my sisters. We play a lot of sports and board games. So with that activities, it foster bonds together with our family, and it creates a good well-being among us. So it can lead. So home-based recreation can lead to stronger ties and improve well-being, but it can also lead to isolation or obesity if, like for example, the televisions and exposure to internet, if this will be the predominant uh, leisure in the household. Okay, so not all home-based recreations is equally valuable. So that's why um, it always depends on the type of housing that where the family lives in. So, for example, if a newly established family, family of three, like a father and mother with one children living in a condominium, uh, with a smaller unit. It always depends on the development. If there will be recreation, if there will be facilities within the condo, uh, it varies according to the projects. So it's hard to say class now. So it always based on um, the, uh, the the values and also the principles of the household members on how they will be able to utilize the available facilities, and also to choose what will be a more rewarding leisure activities for them and for their family members. Accessible housing designs and the notion of aging in place are vital for boosting the capacity of older people and those with disabilities to stay in their home for a longer period of their lives. So their their home should give comfort, well-being, where when you wake up in the morning, it gives you a sense of a purpose, even though you are experiencing or even though these people or loved ones are in not a very good shape of their life. But since your house was being designed accordingly, that will not limit their function, it gives them a sense of dignity and a sense of well-being. So this is why class now. This is vital. This is very vital for us to consider this uh, certain knowledge in order for us to create this environment for them. The home can enable the violence. However, class no, the home can enable violence by concealing it from public scrutiny, but it also functions as a restorative and pleasurable sanctuary in general. So that's how comprehensive class this topic. And the bottom line here is that we need to very meticulous in terms of our housing design. And our priority here is our family should have a wholesome environment, no matter the design, no matter how expensive it is or how cheaper it is. At the end of the day, what really matters for us is our family and our loved ones. So, class, for our reference and also for your further readings, you may also check these following uh, books that are being source of in this as a source of this information. Class, thank you very much for being part of this video lecture. I'll see you again on our next lesson.